Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us today here at Two Wheel Thunder TV. We're in Lexington, Ohio at the Ohio Vintage Days. A real cool event. There's all kinds of great bikes here. There's thousands of people here, hundreds of bikes. We're at the tower, the Goodyear Tower here. Behind us is the racetrack. Join us today, former competitor, long distance rider, Paul Pelland. Did I get that right?
You got it.
Outstanding. Thanks, brother. Appreciate it. LongHaulPaul.
That's it, LongHaulPaul.
LongHaulPaul. And by the way, that's his website, so you can check him out on the website, I think, that way.
That is, yeah.
This young fella has been riding competition long distance for a long time. And then you had something come up in your life that kind of changed that kind of plans, and you had to go to plan B. What happened?
Well, about 10 or 12 years ago, I was competing in long distance rallies. I finished the 2001 Iron Butt Rally actually on a Russian Ural. And in 2003, I was competing in the 11-day, 11,000 mile event. And right in the middle of the event, I had an MS attack. I didn't know it at the time, but I've since been diagnosed with MS. And after that rally, I gave up long distance riding. I still had a motorcycle, but basically used it for commuting. And I went about my life for the next 7 or 8 years. And it was about a year and a half ago that I went down to Daytona for Bike Week and back to my home in New Hampshire, which is a half decent day's ride, and did it in a day and a half. And when I got home, I said, you know, you gave up riding long distances a little too early. So I decided to make my diagnosis of MS public. And since then, I've crafted this plan to ride 1 million miles as a MS advocate. And I go to events like this around the country, and I give a talk. And I also speak for a couple of pharmaceutical companies at patient events across the country while I'm trying to rack up 1 million miles.
1 million miles to raise awareness for MS. You're going to do a seminar here at 1 o'clock today at the Goodyear Tower, where you just came from, to, again, raise awareness of possibly a cure. They said it was a million miles away or 1 million years away, but now you're going to make 1 million miles to bring that awareness to people. You ride this bike, you do different things. It's personal to you. It's personal to you. When you raise this money, where does it go? You get a cut off the top of this, or how does that work?
I wish. No, I have a lot of sponsors, as you can see on the bike, that have helped me with my gear and bike parts for the bike, accessories, tires, stuff like that. But mainly, I'm doing this. All of the money I've raised so far has gone to the National MS Society. Last year, I set a record, and I raised $4,000 in a day. Set a world record, and then this past spring, 45 riders joined me in the first MS 5000, and we ended up raising $23,000 for the National MS Society.
There you go, outstanding. Now, what are you riding? Now, you're riding on this bike?
I am.
What do you have here?
Well, this here is a 2012 Super Tenere Yamaha.
You've modified it a little bit.
It does have a few doodads. Somebody like me who has a disability with MS, my issues are mainly cognition and problems with heat, and some problems with loss of dexterity and issues with my hands. So I've set the bike up basically to be comfortable for me. I use a lot of voice recognition software. I carry a couple of GPSs with me at all times. I have a cooling system that was built for me that I'm test driving. I have extra fuel so I don't forget to get gas when I'm running out. And everything on the bike has basically been set up for me to do many miles on the road.
Well, you're doing an amazing thing. Number one, he's gone public with his diagnosis that you had MS. That had to be a devastating diagnosis to come out. Somebody that loves to ride. Everybody here, the thousands of people that are here, everybody's here that loves to ride. And to have that diagnosis come, I mean, it must have been a blow.
Yeah, it was. I mean, it took me a while, but and I thought I had to give this all up. And that's part of my story that I tell people is that even though you have some kind of disability or diagnosis of MS like I do, It doesn't mean you have to give up something you're passionate about, something you love. I loved riding motorcycles across the country. I loved it. And I gave it up. And it took me a while to figure out I didn't have to give it up. I can't compete.
That's good.
I can't compete anymore, but I can still ride from here to there and all over the country on a motorcycle.
Here's a man who's taken a disability and turned it into an ability. Also to take that ability and to turn it into something to raise awareness for a very serious illness that we need to try to find a cure for. And here's a man that's doing something about it. LongHaulPaul.com.
That's it.
I got that right. Check him out on the web. We're going to follow him around, see what he gets into, maybe see what he's got going. We'll keep you posted on what he's got going. Anything you'd like to tell us about how people can help you do what you're doing to raise more awareness for this?
And mainly it's just to join in, follow my blog. If I'm doing a fundraiser, join in if you can. Sign up for the MS 5000 next year. And check out my stories on the web. I do some of my stuff is pretty humorous. The talk I'm giving today is it's called Having MS is like riding a Ural in the Iron Butt Rally, and I am the only person on earth that can actually give that talk because in 2001 I actually entered and finished the Iron Butt Rally, 11-day, 11,000-mile rally, riding a Russian Ural.
My condolences and congratulations at the same time. That is a feat. And ladies and gentlemen, if you don't know what all that means, Google some of that and you're going to have some amazing reading to do because that is a feat to do what he's just talking about. 11,000 miles on that particular kind of a bike. Paul, we appreciate you being with us, brother. We wish you the very, very best. You ride safe, ride long. And I want to know more about this 50-50 for MS.
Yep.
I like to ride around a long time, and so maybe I'll join you, pick you up on the road somewhere, or we'll cross paths again. But let's find out. Let's see if we can get 50 guys, 50 bikes together and do the 50 for MS. Sounds like a cool thing.
Yep. The MS 5000 is 50 days, 5,000 miles over 50 days. And you try to get pledges. It's like doing the MS walk, but you don't have to walk. You get to ride your bike.
Hey, I like that. I don't have to walk. I can ride my scooter, do something good for a good cause, raise money. It's being used good, going for research to cure something really. 50 days on the bike, sounds like a good ride to me. I'm in for that. There's probably a lot of you guys and girls out there that are in for that. 50 days on the bike, help raise awareness for MS. Let's do this. Let's get behind Paul. LongHaulPaul.com. Check him out on the web. Check him out on his blog. Find out what's going on. And if you can, support him. Here's no boy that's taken, like I said, a serious diagnosis of an illness and made something very positive out of it. Very admirable, very honorable for him to do something like that, to not quit doing what he loves to do. Appreciate that. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us today here from Lexington, Ohio, the Vintage Ohio Motorcycle Days. It's been a lot of fun. Talk to you later.